Who will not be or cannot be available on the 31st of July? Nobody.
Next week, Wednesday.
Good. All right. The matter is then postponed to the 31st of July. The situation of the accused is accused number 1 and 7 are in custody. Who else, Ms. Bester?
Accused number 1 and accused number 5. They're in custody. And
1, 5,
accused
and
number
7.
8. Moyo. Mr. Moyo. I think he's accused number 8.
Moyo is Mr. Klum's client, eh? Yeah.
Indeed so, my brother.
Good. Yes, accused numbers 1, 5, 7, and 8 in custody. The rest bail is extended, warned to be at this court again the morning at 9 o'clock. Thank you.
As it is the court.
Is that the rule? Thank you. The court adjourns.
All right, so there you have it. Another postponement, this time by a week to the 31st of July. That's when this matter is just set back again for pre-trial proceedings at the High Court in the Free State. Two main reasons why we had a postponement today. The first is that accused number 3 and 6, that's Nhoe Matwara and Tieto Makotsa, have just had their legal representative call out because, frankly, they haven't been paid. These two suspects now say that they'll be approaching legal aid. Because of that, they need time to consult with their lawyers and give out new instructions about ways in which they'd like to be represented. And then the bulk of today's sitting was taken over by the lawyer representing Thabo Bester. That's Lerato Moa, I beg your pardon, who has now stepped into the breach after Thabo Bester lost legal representation from his previous clients. This is the fourth legal team for Thabo Bester to step in to try and give him some kind of representation. He's raised similar issues to those that were pointed out by Thabo Bester during that dramatic monologue he had last month. Questions around whether or not he's given the space to consult with his lawyer and give out clear instructions without any kind of obstruction. And this new attorney saying that he's struggled to sit down with Bester. In instances where they had a chance to sit down, it was in very non-conducive conditions or unconducive conditions. He spoke about how cold the room was, speaking of him catching a flu thereafter. So what the court has decided to do is actually to give him a moment now, after today's proceedings, to meet with Thabo Bester, iron out whatever issues they have with their instruction, with the hopes that by the time we meet on Wednesday, the 31st of July, that's in a week's time, they'll be able to finally proceed with the work of setting down a trial date. You might remember, none of this actually deals with the case itself. We're still at the very administrative aspects of this case, where we're trying to iron out issues around how these accused would like to be represented, and how the state, for example, would want to proceed. Speaking of the state, they've mentioned that they are ready for trial. In fact, the state prosecutor there, speaking of them being ready since October already to proceed with this case. But of course, that can't happen until all of the accused feel like they've had an opportunity to consult with their lawyers and are represented as stipulated, of course, in the Constitution. The lawyer representing Thabo Bester also speaking of Thabo Bester being seen as a guilty person, and saying he doesn't enjoy the presumption of innocence before being found guilty, saying that too in some ways is really interfering with how Thabo Bester is treated and how ultimately, presumably, this court or this case, I beg your pardon, may proceed. So we'll keep watching those developments for you. I mean, you're just seeing there some journalists really trying to engage with some of the lawyers who are representing the accused. I imagine with some kind of one-on-one opportunity. If we do get that opportunity, we'll be back there live for you in the Free State to, suppose, get more into the mind of Lerato Moela, who is now representing Thabo Bester, the fourth legal team, as I mentioned, to represent this convicted rapist and murderer.